Two horses were carrying two loads. The front horse went well, but the rear horse was lazy. The men began to pile the rear horse's load on the front horse. When they had transferred it all, the rear horse found it easygoing. He said to the front horse, "Toil and sweat. The more you try, the more you have to suffer." When they reached the tavern, the owner said, "Why should I fodder two horses when I carry all on one? I had better give the one all the food it wants and cut the throat of the other. At least I shall have the hide." And so he did, cutting the throat of the lazy rear horse and rewarding the hard-working front horse with food and care. The morals of the story. The master observed their roles. When they reached their destination, he made a decision. Why should I keep two horses when one does all the work? So, the rear horse, useless and replaceable, was killed. The front horse, burdened but necessary, was spared and continued to receive food and care. 1. Power belongs to those who make themselves indispensable. The front horse became necessary by carrying the weight, while the rear horse, which contributed nothing, was discarded. Lesson: if people cannot function without you, they will keep you around. If you are unnecessary, you will be removed. 2. People will always remove what they don't need. The master did not get rid of the front horse because it was essential to progress. The rear horse, though once part of the journey, became useless and was eliminated. Lesson asterisk: if you are not actively contributing, sooner or later, someone will find a reason to get rid of you. 3. Hard work alone won't protect you. Strategic use of it will. The front horse worked the hardest, but that alone didn't guarantee its safety. It survived because it had created dependency, not because of its effort. Lesson: working hard without making yourself necessary is just a path to burnout. Make sure your work builds power, not just productivity. 3. The illusion of power. If you are only valued for your utility, you are still expendable. The front horse may have survived, but at what cost? It was not rewarded. It was simply kept alive to carry more. Lesson: if you are only needed for your labor and not your leadership, you are still under someone else's control. The reversal: when being indispensable becomes a trap. While making others dependent on you gives you power, it can also backfire. If you are only kept because of your utility, you might become a slave to your own usefulness. 1. The burden of being needed. The front horse survived, but only because it took on all the work. It had no choice but to keep carrying the load. It was needed, but also trapped. Lesson: being indispensable can lead to exploitation. If they rely on you but you don't control the terms, you are simply a tool, not a ruler. 2. Indispensable people often get targeted. History shows that those who become too powerful, military leaders, political advisors, even CEOs, are often removed when they are seen as a threat. Many kings relied on their closest advisors, only to have them executed once they became too influential. Lesson: if your indispensability makes you too powerful, you may become a target. Being needed is power, but too much power makes others fear you. 3. If you are the only one carrying the weight, you can never step away. The front horse took on all the burden, meaning it could never stop working. Had it shared the load strategically, it might have created a better balance. Lesson: don't just make others dependent on you. Build systems where your influence remains even if you step away. Final takeaway: do make yourself needed, but ensure it gives you real power, not just more work. Do control how you are depended on, so you are valued beyond just being useful. Don't become so powerful that you become a threat. Power is safest when it is invisible. Don't let indispensability become a burden. True power is having the freedom to walk away.